the question you must be expecting. You have to tell what are your personal views on roll call. I'll give you a fact. NIT Surathkal doesn't have a roll call, and they have what do you call it? Curfew at 11 o'clock. Okay, this is the fact you have. And now, what are your views on roll call in NIT Trichy? Okay, we can start from this side.
Well, I believe that roll call is a pretty sensitive issue. From the admin point of view, at least, you need to give a sense of relief to the parents as well, like to make make them believe that their girls are safe. So instead of a roll call, like instead of restricting the girls to the hostel, probably we could have a campus roll call, like how last time this suggestion had come up. But we have to make sure that security is tight within the campus, and we have CCTV cameras at various places, and we can allow girls access to places like OXA or student activity center where club activities take place, because as we all know, because of this curfew, girls do not get a chance to participate in, say, like some of the clubs, like okay, some of the clubs work during the nights. Okay, if there is any immediate action that needs to be taken care, girls cannot come out because of roll call. And yeah, there is a possibility of extension, but right now extension has also been limited to 10 o'clock. Either if we give a valid reason as to why we need an extension, the extension as such should be flexible. If we provide valid reason, you should give us extension for as long as we ask for, or else restrict us within the campus. That is what I'd like to say.
My view regarding roll call has to be extended for the persons who are working in clubs and who have their own reasons. People, we are all mature enough to behave ourselves. So, but institute is concerned about us, and they think they are responsible for our parents. So what I want to suggest is, we can get a letter from the parents. Whoever willing to have roll call extension, they can get a letter from their parents saying our kid is matured enough and she can behave well, so that the institute is not responsible for whatever happens to her. And yeah, and I have also mentioned at least the girls who are in clubs has to be allowed for new SSC, which is right near open. There should be proper guarding, and they can be allowed to go to new SSC, because most of the guys will become free only in the nights, and they want to conduct meetings. It's not like girls are just part of it. They also implement ideas. They also have their roles in the clubs. It's not just they are there. It's not that they are just there. So I think it should be done. At least girls who have extracurricular activities should be allowed to go out, and whoever are willing to get extension should get a letter from their parents saying that we don't care.
Okay, so roll call, as you said, in NIT Surathkal might be flexible, but we are in Trichy, North Surathkal, and our campus is a vast campus, and there are safe. However, I feel roll call has been curbing some of our activities. I think as a member of RMI, yes, I was not able to work in SAC during Pragyan. I only got 1 hour extension, which is not that much of a help. And even during Festember, maximum, the previous week of Festember, we get an extension maybe until 10 or 11 o'clock. What I feel we can do about this to make this a more permanent thing is maybe have some set locations in campus, say the admin and SAC, and maybe even have a small biometric system installed over there, so the girls can punch in and say that okay, they are on campus and they are not outside campus. So we don't have to get a message to our parents being sent saying that your daughter is not on campus. So maybe we have a biometric system in those locations as well. I think those are my views. Yeah.
You would have experienced this inside hostel. You would regularly be getting complaints, like extremely trivial complaints, saying that this is not proper, that's not proper. So I just want to know, how would you go about clearing each and every one of those trivial complaints regarding anything?
Yeah, I think. Okay, so I'll start. I think first I'd like to talk about the mess. Okay, it was not a trivial complaint, but it started with a trivial complaint until it became serious, and it was the students. Only once it was taken up by the students that it started functioning well, and now we have something decent happening. So what I feel is we can have something like an open student body as well. As I suggested, I suggested tech rooms, AC study rooms, and such other facilities. So I think we can have like a hostel rep. We can have somebody taking care of these facilities as well. Someone who like goes and checks in on it like once a week or so. So distributing this responsibility, I think, will help address the trivial issues as you mentioned. And we can also have an online portal where people can address the grievances, and the concerned rep can go through these grievances, see which one is the most immediate or pressing issue, and then address them accordingly.
Yeah. Actually, in my second year, the hostel representative has divided the corridors into wings, into parts, and she has put each wing a representative. So people knows whom to approach. They can directly go and, if they are in the wing, they can directly go and approach to their wing representative and post their complaints there, and she will take it to the hostel representative. And they also have bathroom representatives where they are going to take care of bathrooms. And and we have to make people aware, aware of all these things, that there are actually these things working. And the mess squad, the recent idea by Shrikant Iyer sir, the mess squad is actually a great achievement. So I would suggest to give most of the responsibilities to the students so that they can implement effectively for their own benefit.
One point in my agenda was monthly meetings that is open to all local inmates. They can come forth. There's a platform available to them. They can openly discuss ideas with me. Even no matter trivial problems also, but I am there to represent them. So I think it's my responsibility to listen to all of their problems. But then monthly once, if we give them an opportunity, they could come up and they could express their problems. But then considering the fact that we could also put up feedback boxes or like online portals as such, like whatever has been mentioned. We already have organized systems working, but just that girls do not know who to approach. So we should make it clear to them as to who they can approach to for a particular problem. I think that will help them solve the problems.
Regarding food and during night, I think girls face a lot of issues regarding food and night. So what is, as of you, if you are elected as in the next week, what will be your immediate solution to serve, to cater the needs of students in the the girls in Opal for the night food? What would be your immediate solution next week itself?
That my immediate solution would be getting 24/7 food service to the Opal from Neelgesh caterers who are already established their food court here.
I think we could ask the mess authorities as such. They throw the food away, right? So we come back late, say at 10, 11. The food is still in a edible condition. If they could close the lids and make the food available for a little more time, be it 11 or 12, it will be accessible to the girls. This is one thing that could be immediately made, because the food is not available, they clear away the food immediately, like 10 o'clock they pack it up. So if they could let it stay for a while more, I don't see any harm, because they even have water heaters that keep the food warm enough. I think that would be one of it.
Yeah, so I agree with both their points. I think, yes, we could ask our on-campus caterers, anyone like Neelgesh caterers, to deliver. But I also think that if we want to deliver, if we want to order from any place like Domino's or something, we should be allowed to get these deliveries even after 9 p.m. I don't think that that restriction should be there any longer. And yes, we have Angel Bakery, and it closes by 9:45, 10 p.m. Perhaps if we could extend the timings of Angel Bakery as well. And even there's a small stall, Akka, over there who sells coffee, tea, and some other snacks. She closes by 9 p.m. So maybe if it's possible to extend the timings of these two people, then it would be helpful. Yeah.
About your You mentioned something about integrated courses, right? Can you please throw some more light on that?
Integrated courses could be 5-year courses which combine BTech and MTech as well. And there are other courses which offer half a semester courses like being a part of your present curriculum. You could probably work from management studies as well. In a half semester you can complete. But the main focus is on BTech and MTech 5-year courses. You can complete instead of studying for 6 years. There are opportunities available to you to complete it within 5 years, and choice should be left to the student that after 4 years he can quit with a BTech degree, or he can choose to continue the one more year and he will have a combined degree.
And you mentioned about the excess food wastage, right? How much do you think it's feasible with the current waste disposal that's been going on in our mess?
Well, I've spoken to the mess authorities as such, and during vacations and during breakfast there's not much food that is being wasted, but dinner as such there's a lot of food being wasted, and there are days when more than 50% of what is produced is being wasted. Why waste food? And I believe that it is not something that is impossible. So how these NGOs work, they set up containers where they store the food, and it will stay fresh until the next day. Or even consider people within our campus. There are security guards, or there's REC school, there are people working for us. We could provide the food for them. We could make it available to them as well. And not just us, there are many ashrams here, and as a part of Apeksha, we also take food for them from our mess. So I think we could establish containers, save food, and distribute it to people. It is a feasible solution.
How about the funding for this? You need refrigeration, you need storage containers.
Yeah, exactly.
How can an institution which is given fund to spend money on the staff and students here can be spent for other people?
I accept that point. I have worked upon it. That's where the whole concept of NGOs comes. NGOs do have a fund of their own. So when we tie up with them and we are ready to give our input from our side, they'd be willing to give us their support as well. So we could have a collaborative fund where we could utilize their funds, and we could have student raised funds as well. Because like every company has a social responsibility, like that even we have many social responsibilities, and they do come up with activities like this. This could be one such activity.
Good. Ms. Vinita, in her manifesto, she talks about integrated courses.
Yeah.
BTech plus Masters, BArch plus Masters. What's your view on that? Is it feasible in this campus? Do you think students, they're okay with BTech here and they don't want to stay anymore? And we don't have exactly so many great facilities for master students and not so much encouragement. This is the complaint from master students. In this regard, do you think students will really make use of this initiative, BTech plus Masters?
Personally, I feel anyone who's pursuing BTech here would want to do an MS or MTech in another university, in a foreign university, in a better university. That's the general mindset of the students here. So purely speaking from that perspective, I feel that even though the initiative sounds good, I don't think it will be used by the students of NIT Trichy. I think they will be aiming for something more after BTech. I think they will want to pursue something else, not an MTech here. I don't think so.
Okay, fine.
Excuse me, I do have a point for that. But there are many other students who stop with their BTech and decide to continue with a job. And what if I propose to them that within 5 years, just a year more, and you can get BTech and MTech, and we know that the job opportunities available to just a BTech and BTech plus MTech is different. So for such people, it could be an added advantage.
Good. Now, Akila, she has mentioned about funding students for internships. They travel allowance. Did you mention?
Yes, I did.
Travel allowance and etc. Whatever. I mean, if a student has got internship abroad and they are not able to afford so much money, institute can sponsor money to some extent. Now we have got student aid fund. Student aid fund, out of 3 people, do you know how money for student aid fund is generated? First,
I think it's being collected from our own fees, like what we pay to the institute.
So,
Well, I think it's a part of the money that the institute as such receives from the government as well.
Sai Deepa?
I think that is taken part from the whole institute funding.
No, every student is paying 200 rupees of student aid fund, and money is pooled in from all the number of students. studying in the campus. Good. Now, student aid fund is for the students. Do you know where institute is majorly focusing on to use the student aid fund? On which category of people?
For the financially backward people who are not even able to pay the college fees, I think.
Okay. Now, okay.
On the people who are doing research.
Okay. Okay. Now, should we spend money on these financially backward students, or shall we? Is it also possible to invest money on, or sponsor the students for their abroad internships? Which is, if you are a general vice president, and you have got the proposal, how would you react? Would you let them sponsor self on their own, or would you talk to the administration and try to get some fund? If so, how about the fund for the financially backward students?
Can you repeat it? One
Yeah,
is financially
I'll tell you.
backward and another?
Now you have got student aid fund, okay, some 20 lakhs of fund. There are two category of people. One, financially backward people. The other is people who would like to go abroad and need some sponsorship from the institute because they couldn't afford it. And these financially backward students want money to pay their institute fees. These people want to pay for their expenses for abroad visit, for internship. Now the question is, how will you divide?
Well, yeah. As a vice president or a member of the student council, my prime focus would be the backward students who need the basic info for an institute fee. But then I'd also like to help the others by say the recent alumni meet. There was an alumni which came up. There was a batch of alumni which came up with the concept of raising funds amongst them for use for students. We could possibly use such funds to help people who want to go abroad or to use it for their own.
Now, the problem is this situation is right available in the administration and we are not able to do anything. Even alumni are not interested in funding. They want to fund again these financial backward students, or they want to set up something inside the campus. They don't want to spend money on students who are interested in abroad internships. Maybe because they may not have the confidence in them. So now forget about alumni funding. They are not ready. So what is your answer? Can we use student aid fund for these people? They are also important, and it's their fund. We have to spend on them. We focus on.
I think I'll go with the people who deserve it more.
What do you say for this, Vinita Sindhu?
Can you come again?
She said that she wants to use most of the, fund for the financially backward students. What about these people? What is your reaction for her answer?
Yes, I think using student aid fund for funding the people who are financially backward or this is not an either this or it's not an either or case. I think that depends on the amount of funds which is available in our campus.
Okay, now
and,
I'll tell you another solution. Every student in the campus is made student education loan available from the bank. In fact, our director has spoken to the manager. He has agreed to give loan without any security also.
okay.
So in this case, let students take loan and use this fund partially for other ideas also. Maybe for such kind of internship programs.
Yes, that could work as well. But yeah, as Akhil also said, first, of course, the focus will be on the people who are financially backward and cannot pay for the current BTech degree itself. But then now that the internship is a credited course, that's why I feel that we should exert some importance to funding those people who are going for foreign interns. Because it's a credited course now. So yeah, I think we can welcome any other kind of funding or loans which are favoring the students. That would definitely be helpful.
Good. So, if you people, any one of you become vice president, you are ready to encourage students to, institute to provide funds for these abroad internships?
Yes.
And
yes.
are you also going to tell the students who will say it is our right to get fund, the financially backward students, will you tell them to go to bank and get the loan?
Wait, I didn't get to.
Will you encourage students to get education loan rather than depending on the scholarship?
I think that would depend upon, first I have to approach the admin and see how much of funds can be allocated to such students. And then I have to see how many students are going on an average to such foreign interns what their visa and travel expenses are. And based on that, I think we can make a decision on whether to push them for loans or whether to push them towards, like come and accept the funds. Like we have funds available, please do make use of it.
So, if 10 lakhs is pooled in for the student aid fund from a student's fees, maybe a lot of available fund is there. I mean, maybe already core is there, but every year 10 lakhs is being added. At one point of time, after 10 years, you'll get rid of all the fund available, and you have to depend only on the student aid fund, which is raised from that year fees.
Okay.
So now the point comes, whom we should support. And you have got the fund here, 10 lakhs. And assuming some 10 students require 30,000 or 50,000 each, 5 lakh rupees of fund is gone for the abroad internships.
Okay. So you're asking me whether I would still offer this funding for the students who are going abroad, or again financially backward? It's again a choice of whether it's either or case, or
What is your reaction when you're in that situation?
well, if the funds are available and say we can only provide it to a set number of students, then I think maybe we can have an internal selection procedure for the students who got abroad internships. But it should not be based on CGPA, because I think we have enough internships which select students based on CGPA. So maybe that can be some kind of an interview or something like that, and then select.
Now the question is, you yourself have raised.
Yeah.
There are many people going for abroad. So how to categorize?
Exactly. So then we'll need this kind of selection procedure, which of course is not GPA based, more of what is your project, why are you going to that, why do you select that university, and based on that I think there can be a body which decides the caliber of the student and see whether they deserve the funding or not.
Okay. Thank you.
Sarika,
Yeah.
you seem to have quite a lot of stuff on your agenda, right? So how do you go about implementing each and every one of them? Like, I just noted down, as you said, it seems to be around like 15. So how do you go about, how do you plan on prioritizing stuff?
See, I would like to prioritize the manifesto I have given. First, I think night canteen is must in Opal.
I am not asking for each and every, your priority order. I'm just asking you, do you think that you will be able to fulfill each and every point in an agenda in your term of post?
Yes. See, the most of the agendas I have given doesn't need more funding. Like planting trees and all doesn't need more funding. And the things I have maintained a balance, like funding and doesn't need much funding. So which doesn't need much funding, we can go for it first, and according to the priorities, we can implement the agendas.
Thank you.
You have mentioned about ATM inside Opal.
Not inside, near Opal.
SC, it's already there.
SC is already there, but it's always crowded at peak time. And professors also has to stand in the line.
Canara Bank is also there.
Yeah, Canara Bank is there, but most of the time they have only 500 denominations.
So, where do you propose the new ATM to be then? Where do you want this new ATM to be installed?
Yeah, I would like to go with the polling who are residenting in the new avenue and people who's coming to new SAC and also the Opal people. If majority wants an ATM, why can't we have an ATM?
Okay, you do know that setting up an ATM is not quite an easy job, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how do you, in case you become the VP, how do you intend on starting about this procedure?
So first I go to planning, Dean of Planning and Development. I have to convince him that most of the people need ATM, actually need ATM, and then go to SBI, manager of the bank, either in SBI or other bank. We go to the manager, we have to get the permission from him, and then we have to install satellite connection, security guard. That's pretty much it. I covered everything, I guess.
Okay. Can I say something? Maybe instead of having an ATM near Opal, I think this is mainly for Angel Bakery and other services inside Opal. Maybe we can have, they should be able to accept debit cards also. I think that would be an easier solution.
To you, Vinita. You were talking about tech rooms.
Yes.
So can you throw some light into what do you exactly mean by tech room?
Yeah, so as a member of RMI, and I think even people in Spider or other tech clubs, or even otherwise, like we have been giving a lot of mini projects in as a part of our course and such things. And we do not always have our department lab hours to work on. Like we can't work there all the time. We can't work in SAC all the time, even during the night. So I feel like we can have a room within Opal, which would have like some basic equipment, like a soldering iron, or drilling machine, a jigsaw, and such things, so that we can do this within Opal itself. Now we have to like form groups with boys, and it's solely that they're just there for the fabrication. So I think having a room within Opal will make us a little more self-sufficient. I've seen this being implemented in other colleges also. So I think if we start this, it will be a good initiative.
You are from RMI. Can
Yes.
you tell me what is the budget allocated to RMI?
I think it was nearly 1 lakh.
So don't you think RMI can actually buy those stuff, let's say soldering or whatever it is,
Yeah.
and just give it to you people so that let's say you are working, a spare one can be given to Opal, and you yourself told me that there are so many common rooms available which are empty in Opal. Don't you think in a hostel you don't even need a question of responsibility. You can simply go to your warden and then ask her, why can't I use this room? You can propose to her that it is for a project, and you can simply sit there and get your equipment from your RMI, people who are in SAC, and do your work there.
Yes.
Why do you want responsibility, and why do you want a proper tech room?
See, if RMI provides me the tools, that will be probably for me or other members of RMI, or maximum to my friends. I think this facility should be available for all people. That's why I said that academics is moving towards a more practical approach. We are all being given many projects. I think everyone should be able to use the tools.
Then for the boys as well.
Yeah.
It has to be for the boys as well, right? Why just for the girls? It has to be.
It can be for the boys as well. I'm not saying that it's for the girls. But being a representative of the girls, I want to bring it for the girls.
No. My point is, let's say you are working on a very big project. You can always go to the central workshop for fabrication from morning to evening. That is the same for the boys as well. It is not that boys can fabricate anything in their rooms, right? If they want to fabricate something, they just go to central workshop from morning to
You're talking about a scenario in which I only bring the tech room for girls, so that in that way girls will have an advantage. But okay, I'm not saying this only has to be for girls. It was just in my agenda of hostel concerns. But it doesn't have to be only limited to girls. It can be for the boys as well. They can have a room as well. I think that is totally feasible.
The only reason why you will want a tech room is because you are working on a project or you are
Yeah.
associated with some club.
Yeah, and I don't want it to be like limited to some tech club members and their friends. I want it to be available for all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we have the departments. You can go there, do whatever you want. Let's say you are taking up a project.
Yeah.
Okay. You do it in your department. Like you are doing something in your department. So you can always go use the facilities there. Let's say you are an electronics student. You can always visit your department, ask that person there for even extending the timing of the particular lab and use it too. It's as simple as that.
I think extending the time, we close the labs by 4:35. We have labs every other day of the week. Seniors lose labs. It is a very, it's hard even to find like a window of
A
open
better
time.
solution will be to keep the departments open from morning to, let's say, any day, 24/7, whenever you require, rather than having tech rooms in each and every hostel. Do you think it's feasible?
I do think it's feasible. Having a department open from morning till night, especially with the labs, and there has to be someone who has to like take care, and there's like more security concerned with the department than with just a tech room in a hostel. So I think security-wise, opening a department at all times will not be feasible.
Even in tech room, someone should be there, right?
Yes, of course there should be someone, but I don't think opening a department.
I'll just tell you, probably.
Okay.
In a lot of, you are from Tripoli, is it?
Yes.
So, not just Tripoli, even let's say the easiest of the curriculum department like Broad. Some PhD scholar is going to stay from morning till night, 12 o'clock. If you probably, net first practices, you would have been there, you would have noticed some PhD scholar walking out. It is a very trivial issue. This can be dealt with easily. You don't need a tech room first?
I don't think a tech room is something that hard to bring. I think it's something which can be brought, and the way you're making it sound, it's like something it's so hard. You're wasting too much resources and money on it. But yes, it did start out as like, we wanted a girls' room for RMI, and I thought, why just have it for RMI, have it for everyone? And so that it just formulated from that. Maybe the institute doesn't have to spend funds for this. I mean, we can have the tech club spending funds for this, and yeah, I don't think it's as unfeasible as you make it out to be. That's all I want to say.
So personally, I really like the idea about globalization of the final year project. But I just want to lay out a few things like that I came across after doing a bit of research. So Hindustan University is one of the universities which allows your final semester project to be done outside. And they have, out of 34 credits, 24 credits are reserved for their final year project. Whereas in our college, out of 18 credits, only 6 are allocated for your final year project. So personally, I really want this to happen in my final semester. So can you guys give suggestions to how you can work around the situation? So Hindustan University, 71% of your credits are given to the project, and I think they have some 2 electives. And in our college, only like 30%, 33%. So can you give us a feasible solution to this? Because I really want this to happen in my class.
See, first of all, we can work inter-department. You may love some other department and you want to work with a project in that department. So first of all, what we can do is we can work inter-department because our credits are, project credits are very less. So if in future, if it may change, we can further push it towards inter-college.
But I think there's already a opportunity available for NIT students to go to IIT Madras for their 4th year. Probably we could put this up as a proposal to the admin. We could make them see that it is possible. Then admin is, if we put up an organized solution before them, admin would consider our solutions. So I think we can raise this concern.
What I'd like to mention is some things like even if you did a project for Sangam, for Pragyan, people say that they can even consider that as a final year project. And I also think that those who are doing their interns in 3rd year especially, if they started working on a project, say in IITM or any other foreign university, maybe this can also be, they can continue their work in NIT and that can be considered as their final year project. We can work with that. They can have an NIT mentor, but the project can be from a different university.
Okay, we'll go with the rapid fire. It follows, the rules are as follows, like what already said. Raise your hand if you know the answer. Whom do you approach for the sports equipment?
Infrastructure.
Which
Dean of Infrastructure.
Is there any dean of
Dean of Campus Development.
There is no.
Your answer? Others answers. Your
But I
answer.
think regarding the, as of now, hostel convener Vikram Nair sir, he's also put up a proposal to use the hostel funding, a part of it for sports equipment. So I believe if we put a proposal to the warden and talk to the hostel convener, it can be done.
Are you talking about sports equipment like in hostels or like in general the sports center? In general. Then I am not too sure who to work with.
Regarding iLab in open, like you're suggesting the iLab in common rooms, whom do you approach?
Hostel warden.
Yeah, hostel warden.
Someone mentioned student exchange program in their manifesto.
Yes, I mentioned this.
Whom do you approach for that?
Student exchange program, I think the very first step we can do is to talk to our director because he is now in charge of NIT Suratkal as well. And in our department we have 2 student exchange students in our classes also. So I think we can approach him first and try for something, inter-NIT with Suratkal and Warangal.
I think we approach Dean of
Academic programs.
Estate maintenance department is under whom? Which team? Estate maintenance department is under which team?
Planning and
There is actually a team, a horticulture team, which takes care of plants. Do you know that?
Yeah, I know.
Okay. So under what department does it come under?
There's
Escape maintenance?
How many girls are in total are there in UG? UG undergraduate.
1200 around 1200.
Entire UG. Entire UG.
Entire UG 1200 odd, around 1200.
In your batch?
My batch about 190 to 200.
Good evening. This was a question to me regarding the mess. You
Yes.
had proposed a common mess, right?
Yeah.
So usually what happens is we need to register for the mess. Now, once you register for the mess, after a month, you are awarded to change the mess again and again. Now, once you register at a mess, say first come first serve basis was what you mentioned.
First come, first serve for the registrations, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Once it is registered, if you don't change a mess, it keeps on continuing. How will it help for other people who don't get the opportunities to eat in the lunchtime? First, okay. My question is, see, 20 people get registered, right? Okay. Or 30 people get registered.
Mm-hmm.
Rest of the people don't get chances. One more question is, what about the breakfast and the dinner, the common mess?
What about the what?
Breakfast and the dinner.
Breakfast and dinner.
Yeah.
I am not sure whether dinner would be feasible as a common mess. But then breakfast can be made, breakfast can be done. And yeah, regarding the registrations, yes, I think that purely depends on how you do the registrations. Like right now, as you said, those who don't change their mess get to continue. Maybe we don't have to do this. Maybe each time we are doing this on a trial basis, right? So we can have this for 2 months, say, and see how it goes. So after 2 months, no one can, you know what to say, like you can't, if you choose, you can continue, you have to register again for the mess, or, you know, you don't get to automatically continue, that's what I mean to say. You have to register again, and then again be first come, first serve. So it's like registering again anew. So I think it will be a equal opportunity.
With the quoted number of 1,200 girls, right? It would not be so easy for catering all of them. That is what.
It's not so easy to do.
Cater all of them, right?
All of them.
Cater all of them.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Great.
Hi, I've been living in Opal for the past 4 years and I will be here for another year. One point that all three of you mentioned is making food available even in the night. By not just what canteens we have in college, but from outside. It's not like nobody has been trying all these years. I just want to know what new approach you guys have to make sure this is possible, because frankly by now I have given up. But since all three of you have that on your agenda, I would like to know how you would approach.
I think right now the situation is, at least before, they could shut us up by saying you have HKB to deliver until 12 o'clock, or okay, we have Angel Bakery or something else. But right now the current situation is we do not have HKB, we do not have anyone else delivering to us in the night. So given the situation, I think we can pitch for the idea saying that we do need someone to deliver. So if it's an outside canteen, at least until we get a night canteen, why not? That's what I would say.
Even when we have HKB, it was only till 12 a.m.
Yeah.
How is that going to be changed? Because I as a person don't think much, there's much difference in ordering food after 12 a.m. and before 12 a.m. So how are you going to convince people that it's okay to order beyond that period?
See, one thing you can have is, you can have a box or open like thing for the gate. They have problem guys coming inside the hostel after 12 o'clock. So they can have a whole like delivery thing on the gate, and the person can deliver the food once you give the money. He just says what this food is, and you can give the money and the person can deliver the food.
Thing is, when we ask the guard to go out and get the food, also they have a problem with it.
So that's why this can be a solution. We can have it like small hole like thing or a small.
No, not that way. I just want to know how you guys will convince the authorities regarding that. At least one point, one fair point that each one of you can pitch in that can convince the wardens to allow this.
Yeah, what I'm saying is they are not actually coming inside, or God is not actually going outside.
I don't think you got my question.
Okay, repeat it again. Repeat the question again.
How are you going to convince the authorities that it is not wrong to order after 12 p.m. and that it is a necessity? HKB or any other night canteen, it is going to be only till 12 a.m. How is that going to be changed when nobody has ever managed to be able to change that so far?
If I remember, HKB was in the mess, so which is deeper inside the hostel. Yeah, so I think they have security issues with that.
I think it was just HKB as such which did not want to deliver beyond 12 o'clock. But I spoke to the CCD guy. He's willing to deliver 24/7. Like because CCD is open as such. That is one model. He has come up with an idea of delivering to open 24/7. Now one problem is what the authorities have is girls should not step out of the hostel. We could probably make the wardens see to it that we do not go, but probably we could ask the security guard at least to collect it for us. We can put forth this point that we are not going to go ahead, but we could ask the security.
Okay, I don't want to put you guys down. This has already been done. I just wanted to see if you have any other ideas. That's it.
Ready? Last question.
Good evening. It's just about the common mess. In our college, we know that we can only register for one mess.
Yeah.
And then you were talking about breakfast and lunch.
Yes.
And common mess. Then how they can do dinner in another mess?
As I said, this has to be done on a trial basis. So yes, you will have to register for breakfast and lunch in a mess and dinner in your own local mess. That's how it will work out. There is no other way. I don't think dinner is possible in a common mess. So we can, on a trial basis for a month or two, we can see how it goes, and then perhaps see what can be done after that.
That's what. In our college, we are not allowed to register two messes, right? As per my knowledge.
Yes, but then what I'm suggesting is a new initiative, and that will have to break some of the rules. So obviously, in our college, boys and girls are also not allowed to go into the same mess. So going by what you say, then I won't be able to bring anything new here. So what I'm saying is, yes, you will have to register for two messes, and that will be like maybe you'll have two different mess cards, something which shows that you are a person who dines in breakfast and lunch in this mess.
Do you have any idea of fee structure? Because it's two messes, you are registering for two messes.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have any idea for fee structure, fee distribution and cater, whatever. Fee structure especially.
Fee structure, I don't think it.
Because, as per now, mess is included in hostel thing.
Yeah.
So common mess, how you tackle with this?
See, it's just different people providing us the food, but then it's us registering for breakfast and lunch in one mess and dinner in another mess. So I don't think we will have to introduce any extra fees for this.
Vinita, if I may stop you, don't you think a better solution will be to actually implement the campus bus shuttle service? I think that will be better, right? 15
Yeah,
minutes once a man comes, you can easily go to Opal. I mean, from LHC, Amber Mess is still far away, so far away.
Yeah.
Okay. So the point here is about the connectivity. That is the point. Or is it about common mess? Do you want girls to dine with boys? Is that what you want, or are you focusing on the connectivity part?
Yes, I think it can be a starting point to having common messes across campus. That is what, if we can evolve into something like that, I don't see why that can't be.
One open question to everybody, and we will end after this because we don't have much time. Let's say a situation wherein a strike comes up, like just this year we had one in Opal. Regarding the mess itself, let's take mess itself. How will you handle it?
I think first of all the strike came up because we waited until 30, 40 we waited until a large amount of girls felt sick to take immediate action. If we could start listening to the trivial points, maybe somewhere between that there is a valid point. If we start working on a grassroots level, then we could avoid as such. But if in case there is a strike, then probably we could first try to talk to them, because even when there's a strike, there's some potential voices that you can hear. Like there will be someone who's well heard amongst the crowd. We could go talk to them. We could try to settle down the issue and then approach all of them as a whole. I agree with her.
Yeah, I agree with Akhila. I think a strike arises because they feel that their voices are not being heard and no action is being taken and nothing is being done. So they're striking as a protest. So I think we do need to go and speak to them. Like, say it's the students. The students taking care of the mess kind of solve that issue. So depending on the issue, I think the students can do something to solve it.
There's one final point. Okay. see, all your manifestos just focused on having some sort of online portal. You want something to be done, you need an online portal. This tap is broken in near my wing, online portal. There is something called webmail which exists for this reason. Okay? And the accountability of the wing reps. What happens to the wing rep? How is he accountable? Only she pointed it out. So it is about the accountability of each and every student that you will have to focus on, and nobody put forward points regarding that. And there is already a system in place, and it's called the webmail. You don't need a portal for everything. Thank you so much.